Now continuing the previous problem, the number of classes are 6 and number of class intervals is 6, and how many classes I got? I got 6 classes, right. So the width is what? My smallest observation is 44 and largest observation is 73. How many classes I want? I want 6 classes. So these are 6 classes and the class width is what? Class width is 4. So 44 plus 4 is 48. So how do I calculate that range? 48 minus 44, which is 4. Again I will start with 49 to 53, 54 to 58, then 59 to 63, something like this. So these are my what? Class intervals. Now corresponding to that particular problem, I have to make this tally marks, and finally I want this answer should be 36. Why? Because total number of students are 36. Okay, so this is frequency distribution in terms of class interval. Okay, we are going to consider all this frequency distribution in measure of central tendency, dispersion, regression, correlation. Okay, so all these are useful for those chapters. Now there are some important terms associated with frequency distribution. First is what? Class limit. So corresponding to class interval, the class limit may be defined as minimum value and maximum value the class interval may contain. The minimum value is known as lower class limit and maximum value is known as upper class limit. So if I consider this my class, okay, so this 69 is called as lower class limit and this 73 is called as upper class limit. Now second is what? Class boundary. Now what the class boundary is? So it may be defined as actual class limit of a class interval. For overlapping classification or mutually exclusive classification that excludes the upper class limits like 10 to 20. If I have 20 to 30, 30 to 40, so that upper class limit we have to exclude. Okay, what it means? So if I have 10 to 20 and 20 to 30, so in 10 to 20, where should I consider that 20 as? So what I do is I will consider that 20 observation in the interval 20 to 30. So here that upper limit we have to exclude. So actually it will be what? From so actually it will be from 10 to 19 and 20 we have to consider here. Again here it is 30, so we will consider in next class, something like this. Okay, so these are here class boundaries. So lower class boundary is given by lower class boundary formula is lower class limit minus d by 2 and upper class limit is UCL plus d by 2. So what this d is? D is nothing but difference between that class. Okay, so if I consider here this 44 kgs for the data presented in the table, what the table is? The upper table where these are the class limits. So they have considered that 44 minus 49 minus 48 upon 2 gives me what? 43.5. Okay, and upper class will be that formula. Now what is midpoint or mid value of or class mark? So midpoint is upper class limit plus lower class limit divided by 2 or lower class boundary plus upper class boundary divided by 2. So this gives me what? Midpoint or mid value. When I have to consider any data into individual observations, so these midpoints are